Look, guys, full disclosure, you know I left Twitch for YouTube about 6 months ago. I've been like obnoxiously transparent about the whole thing, but man, Twitch had a bad week this week. Losing Dr. Lupo first and then losing TimTheTatman, who by the way is the 19th top streamer on Twitch, the same day as a site-wide boycott on the platform. We need to have a quick conversation about the future of streaming, the future of your career, and the future of Twitch. Like, for real, is it dying? Hey guys, real quick, I need to give OMEN a huge thank you for supporting the channel and sponsoring this video. And I've got two awesome gaming products of theirs that I'd really like to tell you about. In fact, let me just show you. Let's start with this one. This is the new OMEN 16 gaming laptop with an incredible 16-inch display that can go up to 1440p 165 Hertz, because we all know that frames win games. Its battery life can get you up to 9 hours of use for long gaming sessions and Wi-Fi 6E for super low latency during wireless sessions. This laptop can be configured with up to a Ryzen 9 5900HX. And for the graphics processing, you can get up to an RTX 3070 or a Radeon RX 6600M. This thing's kind of insane. The design is sleek and beautiful with a massive trackpad, narrow screen bezels, and premium audio from Bang & Olufsen. And now let's do this guy. This is the OMEN 25i gaming monitor with 165 Hz refresh rate and a 1 millisecond response time. Plus it has NVIDIA G-Sync compatibility and AMD FreeSync Premium Pro. It's got a 1080p IPS panel, VESA certified display HDR 400, and the world's first dynamic crosshair that automatically switches colors so you never lose it in the environment. You can pick up this laptop at your local Best Buy or online at hp.com. See the links below for details. So look, here's the deal. There's a reason that Dr. Lupo and TimTheTatman leaving Twitch for YouTube is a bigger deal than when Courage and Valkyrae left about 2 years ago. Also, there's a reason that I think the death of Twitch is, one, inevitable, and two, it'll come swifter than you think. I'm not saying it'll be soon. I'm just saying the flame won't slowly die. There's a big takeaway from this DLT exodus. By the way, that's Dr. Lupo, Tim, if they were a sandwich. When Valkyrae and Courage joined YouTube, they did so during like this big signing war. Like, YouTube had to do something to put their foot in the ring. What they did when they signed those two was reactionary, right? They did it after Mixer, Twitch, and Facebook were all signing people. This time, however, it was just completely out of the blue. No one else is signing deals at the moment. They just saw that some Twitch contracts were ending and they just swiped them up. And it's fascinating to me because the instigator last time was Mixer, and they did it as like a Hail Mary play, right? Like a last-ditch desperation move. We don't have many other options. Let's just go big. And then it turns out they didn't really have much gas after that to keep it going. This time it's YouTube making a statement very clearly saying, yeah, that whole scuffle that started 2 years ago, it's not over. We're still in this. They want to win. And I think there's a good chance they will. And not just because Dr. Lupo and TimTheTatman moved over. In fact, I think that alone makes very little difference. There is something a lot bigger going on here. We need to pull up some professional tools to look at it. Right now, Twitch is still a better place for most streamers, right? They have more viewers, they have more streamers, they have the culture, they have more monetization tools, which is huge. They have a better UI for the viewer. Like, Twitch is winning today. So on this quality of life graph right now, where the bottom represents time, this right here is now. Let's put Twitch here and YouTube here. I don't have to explain that this isn't like a metrics chart, right? Like, YouTube's not at 1.2 million qualities. Numbers aren't always everything. You have to look at something a little bit more broad, right? Sometimes if you want to find answers, you have to look at the whole forest, not just a tree. But if we focus on today, Twitch is the choice. And a lot of people get caught up in the today. It isn't until we go a little bit further back and realize that YouTube has been making a ton of plays to make their live experience better, while we can all agree that Twitch is getting a little bit worse. I mean, just in the past year, we've had major DMCA issues on Twitch that they still haven't resolved. Marginalized streamers have been getting hate rated for the last month, and Twitch has tweeted about it like twice. It's not about the current position, it's about the trajectory. Eventually these lines are gonna cross. And more importantly, we have trajectory trends, where like if I place marks here it tells a completely different story. Like here, it looks like Twitch is getting things under control. YouTube gaming's growth is halting. Twitch is probably going to be just fine. However, I think this is closer to being accurate. Something really important to understand about business like this is this graph is not about metrics. It's not based on numbers. Numbers don't lie, but they also don't always tell you the whole story. This is based on something completely different, on consumer behavior, which is actually very easy to observe on a social media business because the consumers are very vocal about their behavior and their thoughts. That's their job. And this is my personal interpretation of what I've seen of these consumer behaviors. And by the way, this graph is grossly oversimplified for the sake of an easy to watch YouTube video, but this kind of information is the basis on why I guessed that Mixer was going to die. It's also the basis on how I knew that DMCA strikes were going to start hitting Twitch soon. And this kind of information is why I think YouTube will end up overtaking Twitch, because not only is the gap closing, but what's left for YouTube to close the gap is super simple and is very easy for them. Whereas the stuff where Twitch is far behind YouTube is super complicated, and I don't think they're capable of doing it. All YouTube really has to do is add a couple things like gifted memberships, some moderation tools, a better UI for the viewer experience, and a handful of other things here and there, and then start just buying creators. And bam, the gap is gone. But Twitch, in order to catch up to YouTube, has to create an entire VOD ecosystem. They need more than streaming. They need either long form content or short form content. They need to create that whole system, and then they need to convince their user base, their streamers, that they need to start using it. And this is what I mean by when you look at the trajectory and the potential of both platforms. I'm scared for Twitch. But the big scary elephant in the room that gets overlooked and nobody really wants to talk about is this. Whenever anyone talks about how Twitch is not profitable yet, Twitch is hemorrhaging some money, or any of these kind of woes, people usually say, well, Bezos owns it, or Amazon is rich, they can afford to lose some of that money to keep Twitch going. I have a counter argument for you. There's a reason rich people are rich, and it's because they don't think that way. Bezos didn't become the richest man in the world by throwing his money at things just because he can. Bezos became Bezos by not doing that. Bezos meticulously only spends his money on things that are going to push him forward in this race, and spending money on things that will make him more money. As this platform war moves forward and these lines kind of continue on in their trajectory, it's not like Twitch is going to just slowly become a smaller and smaller streaming platform as people leave for YouTube. The moment these lines cross and Amazon realizes that Twitch isn't the money-making machine they thought it was going to be, Amazon pulls the plug, or at least sells it to YouTube or Facebook or someone else. Bezos doesn't invest in losers. So is this me saying jump ship now because Twitch is doomed? No. YouTube has its own set of significant problems, just like every other platform does. And, of course, I could be wrong. What I am saying is keep your eye on the public perception of Twitch versus YouTube. Keep your eye on the trends. Keep your eye on which platform understands what live streamers really need. Stop making decisions based on the platforms today, because unless you're in the top 0.1% of streamers, you're not making any money today, and you probably won't for another year or two. So, which platform do you think will be on top then? Hit the like button if you found this interesting at all, or if you agreed, or even if you don't agree. Hit the like button anyway. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, happy streaming.